Hello everybody and welcome to a special TARDIS Zone Talks. As you know, at the end of the month, TARDIS Zone Talks will be back full time because obviously Series 13 of Doctor Who will be on air. But some news today dropped over an hour and a half ago, and I don't see Doctor Who trending, or Jodie Whittaker trending, or Mandip Gill trending for that matter. Certainly not in Ireland. But they're not trending. And why would they be trending, folks are asking? Well, as I said here on this channel, I says, this show is not officially wrapped until you see the little clipboard. They always do the clipboard thing. Well, they did it again. A photograph of Mandip Gill and Jodie Whittaker has been put up on the official Doctor Who sites, and both of them have officially wrapped filming. Mandip Gill and Jodie Whittaker are done with Doctor Who as of an hour ago. So, while, I said this was a time of us, for fans of us that haven't liked this era, this is a good announcement. But, it's been kind of overshadowed from the RTD thing. So, we knew they were going anyway. So, but they're gone. They're gone. And, I know some of you won't believe it until you actually see it. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you guys. But this divisive era now, is ending soon. Jodie Whittaker, I have to say, if you look at her in the photograph, she looks very relieved, if you ask me personally. Someone was saying it to me as well in a chat, that she actually looks relieved. And of course, you can see that they're both very tired, which they are, because you can see the bags under their eyes. So here it is, folks. This is the image that everybody's been waiting to see. As I said on this channel, when people were saying that they'd already finished filming, I told you it's not official until you see that little clipboard, because that's what they've always done. And today, they actually announced this. Well, hold on. I'll show you what they announced. But there's the photograph. There's the photograph there. So they got the clipboard. Notice no rainbow this time. No title, no nothing. Just Doctor Who and Jodie Whittaker with her arms around Mandip there. And I'm assuming her arm is probably around somewhere there as well. So yeah, there it is, and this was the official tweet. It's up over 2 hours now. Sorry, folks, just bear with me. So that's a wrap. Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill have finished filming Doctor Who, right? But I'm gonna add something here, right? It says Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill are finished with Doctor Who. It doesn't actually say that a Doctor Who has officially wrapped, like they've normally said, right? So I believe that there's still something going on. I don't think they have finished. I think Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill are finished just like John Bishop was, right? But I actually believe that they're not finished filming, because they haven't officially announced that that's a wrap for Doctor Who, that it's only a wrap for Mandip Gill and Jodie Whittaker. Why word it that way? Why not word it, it's a wrap for Doctor Who? Put up the photograph of the two of them. People would know that they're gone if it's a wrap for Doctor Who. But the fact that they've actually said that's a wrap for Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill, they didn't actually say that's a wrap for Doctor Who. So I think there's still some shooting to be done that obviously doesn't involve them. So it'd be very interesting to see. I I don't know, Charlotte. That's the thing, but I just find it strange the way it's worded. Maybe I am reading too much into it. I could be, but at the same time, I've never heard it being worded that way. If you go back and look at the last time after they wrapped with Series 11, right? And then they showed the clipboard again with Series 12 wrapped. Look at the way it's worded, right? It didn't say Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, Bradley Walsh, and Tolson Cole have wrapped Doctor Who. They said Doctor Who has wrapped up. But in this case, they've just said Mandip Gill and Jodie Whittaker have wrapped. So I think there is something else to be filmed. And maybe it's not necessarily with her, but with someone else. You know, remember, there's rumours going around. People have been talking about David Tennant. That's all I'll say on that. But it is unusual, the wording. I'll read it again, right? You tell me if this means that Doctor Who has finished, right? Doctor Who now, right? So I'll read the tweet again, right? And tell me if you think that Doctor Who has wrapped up filming. I see that we do have a super chat. I'll get to it now in a minute, Digby. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. So here's the tweet again. That's a wrap, right? Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill have finished filming. That's it, right? They haven't said anything about Doctor Who. Now, as I said, if you go back the last 2 years when they're announcing that they had wrapped up filming, right? That's the way they put it. The cast have wrapped up filming for series blah, blah, blah of Doctor Who, right? But this time around, all they've said is where is it? Why has it skipped? There. That's a wrap. Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill have finished filming. So I don't know. I think there's something more going on. And we will see. But very, very. This is the day that Doctor Who fans were waiting on. A lot of fans for Jodie Whittaker to be officially gone. She's officially gone now. So, you know, obviously we still have her era to come. But she is gone. She's no more with Doctor Who. And, you know, as it was said to us fans, you know, back in the day, there was a hashtag going around and it was hashtag good riddance. It was when people like us were targeted, told to get out of the fandom. Well, I used that hashtag today. Hashtag good riddance, Jodie. Hashtag good riddance, Mandip Gill. I'm glad to see the back of yous, to be quite honest with you. I think both women have been very, very divisive. They have been very combative towards fans in this fandom over the last few years. We've had those interviews by Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill sometimes on our Twitter account, and then she'd delete them. Would have go at fans. She would have a go at fans, and then she'd play the victim when called out. I'm just glad to see the back of these two women. Can't wait until it's officially announced that Chris Chib. This is why I don't believe it's done, because Chris Chibnall's name wasn't mentioned or anything. And I still do believe there's other stuff. And I don't know what it is, but I don't think Doctor Who itself has finished filming. But those two women have. And I'm just glad to see the back of them. I'll be glad to see the back of Chibnall and for the RTD era to begin. We will see what real Doctor Who looks like when he takes over. Just like we did when he took over the first time. It will be progressive. We know that. It will have politics in it. It will have ideology in it. But more importantly, it will have great characters, great storylines, great story arcs. That's the difference. Character development by RTD is some of the best. So that's the difference. Chibnall couldn't do that. You could see his doctor, you know, she hasn't progressed or matured in the three series. You know, she has stood still because his character development's so bad. Mandip Gill is supposed to be this police officer and all of this. Her character development is some of the worst character development I've ever seen. And of course, we can bring up Tolson Coles and the dyspraxia that he had, and how poorly that was portrayed in the current era. Chris Chibnall will not be remembered for Doctor Who. Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill will not be remembered for Doctor Who. The only thing that they'll be associated with Doctor Who is nearly or actually killing a franchise. That's what their names will be associated with. Also, people are saying what is for the future for Jodie Whittaker. Well, I do know that Jodie Whittaker has some theatre work that she'd like to get done, but in the current situation, I don't know what the story is there with the theatres. It all depend on if theatres are allowed open. But I do know she has a desire to go back on stage. She's also produced some movies during this run of Doctor Who. So I think she might be going down that route. I'm not saying you won't see Jodie Whittaker on screen again, but I was watching Black Mirror last night, actually, believe it or not. I've been binge watching Black Mirror from season 1 again. And last night I actually watched the Jodie Whittaker episode, the one about her and her husband and about where she slept with your man and stuff and all of this. And even in that, man, it's the faces that she pulls. I don't know how she ever became an actress pulling faces like that all the time. I'm being honest with you. Now, she wasn't as bad in the episode as I remember. Now, in fairness, now, as I said, you know, it wasn't groundbreaking acting, but it was decent enough. But we didn't even get half of that in her era. So let's read out a couple of the super chats that we've received. So Digby Strawbridge with a £10 super chat says, thanks for keeping us informed. Fingers crossed these fools are never let near Doctor Who again. Yeah, well, if BBC have truly, well, it's under BBC Studios now, but if lessons have been truly learned, well, we will have to wait and see. That's the thing. Even though RTD is back, we will have to wait and see. You know, and we've got a $5. Hold on, put it up on the screen there. So we've got a $5 super chat from Ventus Bruma. Says filming things is really weird at the moment because of C19. There are probably non-main cast scenes that need to be done. Still lots likely. Yeah, that's what I reckon it is. I reckon they've finished with the main actors, and whatever scenes have to be filmed without Mandip and Jodie being in them, I think they'll be the ones, because it is unusual, the wording. I might be reading too much into it, could be, but they always say Doctor Who has wrapped. They don't, you know, the way they've worded it there seems pretty weird to me. As I said, I could be reading stuff into it, but I don't think I am. I think there's still stuff to be filmed, and they're not obviously part of that. So it'll be interesting to see what else that needs to be filmed, because I don't think it's officially done, but they are. I mean, the funny thing is, right, I thought with an announcement that big, right, I said I'll check the trends on my phone. And William Shatner obviously is trending number 1. Netflix employees concerned about Dave Chappelle's special days before. Uncharted 2 is Activision is trending as well. Nigel Farage is trending, and then in Ireland, right? In Ireland, the top trends are Budget 2022, Then William Shatner, as I said, we've got there Nethe, Sally Rooney, Paddy Maloney, Captain Kirk, but not Jodie Whittaker. She's not even in the top 30 trends in Ireland, right? And Doctor Who is popular in Ireland, and she has trended in Ireland. So on the top 30 trends in Ireland, Doctor Who or Jodie Whittaker, or even Mandip Gill for that, are not trending. Now I'm gonna go into the entertainment threads. It's telling me nothing to see here, yeah. He found does this weird thing sometimes, so just bear with me. There's the sports. Where about the entertainment? So there, I'll just refresh it there. So former Little Mix singer addresses the blackfishing. Oscar Isaac, but still no. There she is. So she's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So she's 12 paces down. And it's got 6,000 of foot, but it's only Jodie's name. So I just want to go in and see if it's all about Jodie Whittaker. Right, so we've got the first 3 posts, Jodie Whittaker, Jodie Whittaker, Jodie Whittaker, Jodie Whittaker, Jodie Comer, Jodie Comer, Jodie Comer. So in fairness, for a big announcement like this, right, I'm just looking. Not even Doctor Who is trending where I am, right? But Jodie, it has Jodie there, but it doesn't say Jodie Whittaker, and it has 6,005 tweets. But if you scroll down and have a look, it's not just talking about Jodie Whittaker; it's talking about Jodie Comer and any other Jodie that's out there. So, you know, for an announcement that big, because it is a big announcement when a doctor finishes up, but to see that she's not trending is actually kind of shows you the state that this era really is in. You know, at the end of the day, you know, no matter how bad this era is, you would expect when the lead, which is Jodie Whittaker, and her companion, Mandip Gill, are leaving, that they'd be trending. But they're not. They're actually not. That's actually quite sad, really. But, you know, it's deserved. It's deserved because, you know, they had an agenda. Jodie Whittaker came in. She saw her as a job, nothing else. She didn't have feelings towards the roles that others did. Now, you know, it's always thrown in their faces that, you know, according to us, we want someone that has been a fan of the show to play the Doctor. That's not true. Matt Smith wasn't a fan of the show. But what we do expect is we expect the lead actor or actress or whoever's taking the role to actually do the research, even if the director or the producer or whatever tells them that they've not to. We expect that from a candidate, right? We expect it, because how are they supposed to know what they're supposed to be playing? And this was the big thing that Chris Chibnall, the worst bit of advice. I will actually also say this and go out on a limb. I don't think their friendship, I don't think their friendship has survived this. I think Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker now, I think it'll take a lot for Jodie Whittaker to work for Chris Chibnall again. I think the trust has been completely broken. I don't think he gave her the right advice. Even her PA, our personal assistant, our team that are behind her, when she was doing interviews, in my opinion, they were giving her the wrong advice. She should have been told very early on to tone down the rhetoric that she was coming out with. You know, you didn't want to alienate fans straight away, but she didn't care. Like, she didn't care for the role because it was only a job. To her, it was a step up the ladder to use Doctor Who to further her career. But what it's probably done now is it's probably ended or hurt her career. That's the ironic thing about it. She used it as a ladder, a step up ladder to get up, because she knew that Doctor Who was global. So she wanted to reach a global audience, which meant she wanted her career to go up on an upward trajectory. It's not going to. I think Mandip Gill and Jodie Whittaker are going to do the worst out of New Who doctors when it comes to finding work. I think she'll have to produce and do her own stuff like she is doing. She's gone down that route. And I think she foresaw that, because she started, there was talk about her doing plays, and she was doing this movie while she was working on Doctor Who. So I think she was very, look, I don't think she knows everything that was going on in the fandom. But I do believe that she knew enough that it was time to go. And it was the right decision. Now, of course, some of the other side are obviously devastated. And I've seen some of the comments. And, it's official for them now. So a lot of these fans, I would just say, watch out. Because some of them might lash out tonight. And over the next couple of days, now that it's actually official. Because they haven't handled it very well since she was announced that she was leaving. They took it very badly. They believed that she would be the longest serving doctor of the entire series of Doctor Who, classic and New Who included. She's going to fall short of that now. And in fairness, it's upset a lot of these fans. They didn't just want Jodie Whittaker to be the first female doctor. They wanted her to break all sorts of records on Doctor Who. But that's not going to happen now. And the reason why it's not going to happen is because the simple fact of the matter is the British public and Doctor Who fans in their droves, no matter what the other side say, walked away from this era. And it wasn't to do with the fact that Jodie was a woman and a woman was taken over. Yes, some fans would have left when that decision was made. But people like myself, who didn't agree with the decision, that stuck around, as we watched, we seen why we were right all along. When that leaked trailer came out, when she was on the train, do you remember that? I remember that day. We're all watching it. I remember watching it behind the scenes with a lot of people, and I remember that we all had our mouths open. I remember even someone saying, "This is awful. This is really awful." And then the excuses were, when that video was leaked, then BBC and Chibnall and Co tried to kind of ease fans' minds by saying, "Oh, no, that's a rough cut. That's not exactly what the scene is like. It's a rough cut." Right? Of course, it was the exact scene. It was the exact scene. Sharon, is that you outside? All right. I thought someone was breaking in.
Oh, no, it's me.
So, yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't look. This era is done. She's done now. Whether her career can survive this or not, I have doubts. I think she'll have to do a lot of stuff herself, which I believe she will. As for Mandip, don't really care what she ends up in. The only two that I wish the best of luck out of this team TARDIS was Tolson Cole and Bradley Walsh. For the simple reason is you could see that Tolson Cole had, by the second series, had enough. And the character development of the character that he played was absolutely awful. And you could see that he was done when he put out those little videos as well about Jodie doing her lines and all of that. He was done. Bradley Walsh looked like he was done as well. But obviously now he's being given the reins, the blankety blank, and he still has to chase. So he's even more successful than the lead of Doctor Who right now. And has done very well for himself. So, you know. And people will say, oh, but have you noticed though that Noel's only praising the blokes, but he's not praising any of the women? Well, there's nothing to praise. There's nothing to praise. I mean, Jodie came out and attacked fans the first chance that she got. Now, I know some fans out there say, oh, but she was only taking the piss. You don't take the piss out of long-term fans that have a problem with your casting, right? It's very important that you don't alienate the fans that kept this franchise going when it was off the air, i.e. subscribing to the magazine, i.e. buy Big Finish and all the other stuff that comes with it, right? Someone should have told her from day one, listen, there are going to be fans that are going to push back against this. We've got to come out of it, the other side of this smelling of roses, right? Doesn't matter what they say about Chris Chibnall. Let it aim at the BBC and Chris Chibnall. Your job is to try win fans over and try say the right things. But she didn't. She went, first thing she did, she went did a radio interview. Male gaze, crap and all of this other rubbish. Oh, little girl standing in the corner, well, Doctor Who was for boys. All of this rubbish that she came out with. Which we know wasn't true. But, you know, when she got called out about it, we got into trouble. We were called sex. Oh, don't be attacking a woman. Poor woman. So yeah, I'm glad she's gone now. And then she did that stylist video, and that's the one I'll never forget. Because she goes on with that smug little face, that scrunch face that she has, and she's reading out messages of long-term fans and fans out there, right? It was a mixed bag, obviously fans that liked that casting and fans that didn't, and she was mocking them. And, you know, that's not a good start before you've even filmed something, right? So you want to know why the woman was detested and hated throughout this whole entire run of Doctor Who? Go back to her early interviews and the attacks on fans. And you could say that she's innocent all you want, and you could say that she was only messing and she was joking and she was doing this and that and the other. It doesn't matter. When you make a huge change like that to the franchise and you bring in a woman, well then that woman must say and do the right things, not to upset fans and the British public even further. All right? Her job was a simple brief. Keep your mouth shut. Let the fans get angry at the BBC and Piers Wenger and Chris Chibnall for making this decision. If she had kept her mouth shut and come out and said the right thing, she wouldn't even be criticised. Yeah, her acting would be criticised, but she wouldn't be criticised personally for things that she said and done. And that's the problem. She did do those things. And that's what, and listen, here's another thing as well that the other side tend to forget. She was the first female doctor, so she was going to be scrutinised even more than her male counterparts before her, right? Because they changed the direction of the show. So obviously she was going to be scrutinised more. But it's done. It's done. They're both gone now. Let's see what Douglas Nelson with a $5 super chat as well says, a lot of actors were offered the role of Doctor Who and turned it down later, regretted that decision. I suspect Jodie will be the opposite. As I said, I don't think she'll regret. No, I don't think she will regret the decision at the time. Because, as I said, she saw this as an opportunity to boost her CV. Right? And a show like Doctor Who ordinarily would boost your CV. But unfortunately, they miscalculated. And if you look at the marketing campaign during Series 11, it was highly feminized, right? They'd made their position very clear. Right? So there was a lot of things that they got wrong. This is why RTD now has a hard job, and whoever's taken over the promotion will have a very hard job now, because we've got nothing but crap. And even this, I was supposed to do a video earlier today on the Doctor Who Flux promotion thing, because I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I will. But let's just say that's the level of competence that you have. You've got it. You're showing these trailers on Twitter and stuff, and you've got a few screens in Liverpool playing this 20-second teaser from Jodie Whittaker. That's the level of promotion that this era got, by the way, because this Friday she does her interview for Graham Norton, and then a week later, then Doctor Who is on screen. Now, I don't watch BBC One anymore, but can anybody tell me that Doctor Who trailer or a trailer is on the TV? What about the British public? See, this is the thing that I didn't understand about all of this promotion, is the fact that it was aimed heavily on social media. But you've got to try win fans fucking back, the British public back. So why wasn't the trailers on the TV? Sorry, Noel. Sorry, folks. I've got to bounce. Noel, thanks for all your hard work and keeping us informed, says Digby Strawbridge. And thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Thanks for popping in. Robert Payne says, I've not seen the trailer on TV. So there you go. So the British public, unless they're on Twitter, right, a whole lot of them, they don't know that Doctor Who was actually on the screens on the 31st of October. And another stupid decision, right? Because I said at the time when it was announced that it was coming out Halloween night, are they crazy? So you're putting it on Halloween night when kids are going to be out with their parents trick-or-treating. Now, Halloween, you know, when I was growing up, we watched an old scary movie or something like that. You know, so even if the kids aren't trick-or-treating and they're having parties or whatever, because Halloween could be different, granted, right? But do you think kids are going to want to watch Doctor Who Halloween night? A very, very bad decision. But again, this whole thing has been a bad decision. From top to bottom, every decision that they made, changing it from Saturday to Sunday, bad decision. Right? Changing gender for the Doctor, bad decision. We've seen it. The proof is in the pudding. No matter how many times, and we still have people, still to this day, spinning Jodie Whittaker's ratings. I don't care how many times you spin it. You could spin it until the sun don't shine. The fact of the matter is that this show ended up having the worst ratings since the late 80s. So I don't care how many times you spin. It's from the start to the end. We don't care what happens in the middle, because in the middle you could see, right, 1 week it'd get a little bit of a bounce, and then the next week it'd drop. Then the week after that it'd drop, and then maybe there'd be a decent enough episode where it might get a little bit of a bounce, and then it'd drop again and drop and drop and drop and drop and drop and drop until we got to the latest festive special, and it was the lowest rated. Okay? Yeah, that's fact. Like, I mean, the other side blame fans like me. It's our fault that this era failed, right? But what they forget is that fans are not responsible for the decline of Doctor Who. It's actually a mixture of fans, British public. It's the fact that the writing is so boring that people have just decided to tune out. Doctor Who used to be entertaining. Doctor Who used to put you at the edge of your seat. There's not one Jodie Whittaker episode where I've watched where I've been on the edge of my seat, she's convinced me that she's the Doctor, or I've actually really and truly enjoyed. Most episodes have been a chore to get through. And the ones that I did kind of like were ended up ruined by some stupid bloody thing that Chibnall or someone else did. There's not one episode of this era that you could put up. I'll tell you now, right? If you put up every single episode that Whittaker done and put it up against the RTD era, right, it would smash it. Right? Now, the ratings, you know, they keep bringing up Series 10 as the weak link. You know, see, here's the thing. I do believe that Series 10 numbers will go up. And this is why. Because I honestly believe, and I've said this over the last couple of years, the Peter Capaldi era will be revised. There'll be people will look back on that era. They'll watch Series 10 again. I think Series 10 is criminally underrated. I actually think it's one of the best Moffat seasons, to be quite honest. I think a lot of fans, though, by the time Series 10 had gotten along, were just sick and tired of the BBC and stuff messing around with Peter Capaldi's time slot and then injecting. That was the start where you could see the politics really come to the fore. Moffat always had politics in his era as well, but you could see that it was kind of forced near the end. And this is what I say about the Chibnall era. It's being forced, whereas when RTD did it, it was more natural. It was more natural. The politics were there. The agendas were there. But you also had great characters. You had great story arcs. And you had some of the best writing that I've seen for Doctor Who. Seriously, some of the best writing. So that's the difference, you know. And don't get me wrong, you know, everybody will admit that the biggest culprit here is obviously Piers Wenger, because he's the boss, and obviously his employee who works for him is Chris Chibnall. And you know, let's not forget that Chris Chibnall's the one that made the decision to cast Jodie. He was the one that got his writing team together, which were a bunch of soap writers. Nobody of note, nobody that you would think, oh yeah, they'd write a great Doctor Who episode. And all of that will change very soon. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So, just to let you know, I did put up a tweet before we started. And this is what I wrote. I'm going to read out some of the replies. So, I wrote an hour ago. And my Twitter seems to have blown up ever since the RTD announcement. It's actually weird. So Jodie and Minnie both finished filming. They are officially finished. Describe their time on the show in one word. So we've got one that says sadness, cosplay, shy, terrible, rejected, subpar, clusterfuck, trash, god awful, waste, shit, destructive, catastrophic, wooden, shy, laughable, pony, whatever that means, empty, diabolical, horrific, problematic, boring, horrendous, forgettable, broken, diabolical, shy, someone wrote who, repugnant, landfill, manure, and then someone wrote bollocks. So, you know, even those one word replies show you that there are lots of people So someone, we've already got some of the fans saying now, because it's official now. So if will not be her, no more Doctor Who for me, Jodie Whittaker, gracias. So some fans have already put up their tweets to say that they're leaving. He's Adam fans, he's never wear fans, and adios, bye bye. Don't let the door smack you on the way out of the fandom. Good riddance, as they say. See, they're not fans. They're not fans. See, here's the thing. No matter what criticism I get from the other side, right? I'm going to say this. I stayed and watched this whole entire era of Doctor Who. And people have questioned that decision over the time that I've done. Now, not as much now, because people realise why I did it and why I had to do it. And they do love me doing the reviews and the panels and stuff like that. But the simple answer is this. The reason why I decided to do it was because I'm a fan of the show. And even though I didn't agree with the decisions that were made, I was still a fan of Doctor Who. So my loyalty towards this show, which never, was brought up, I think I've been very loyal, especially over these last few years, especially after the way they've treated us fans. I've stayed loyal. I've watched every single episode of Jodie Whittaker's run. I've watched all of her specials so far. And it's funny, get criticised. Oh, he's not a fan. He's not a fan. He doesn't like Doctor Who. He hates it. He hates it. If I wasn't a fan, I'd do exactly what that person is doing now, right? When Jodie Whittaker was cast, like some fans did, they walked away, right? If I wasn't a fan, now I'm not saying those people aren't fans. People had their reasons. But for me, if I walked away, well, then I wouldn't consider myself a fan anymore. And I wasn't prepared to not be a fan of a show that I grew up with. Right? So, yes, while I didn't like this era of Doctor Who, I remained loyal because I still believe that they can get this right. But this is the last chance saloon now, and they've thrown the kitchen sink at it now. They brought back RTD. So we'll see if he can inspire us all and captivate us all, capture our imaginations. Let's see, can he actually, bring the fandom back to some sort of normality. But if you are gone because Jodie Whittaker has left her role, bye-bye. See you later. As I said, don't let the door smack you on the way out, and don't ever come back to this fandom again. You're not welcome. That's not how it works. Your Doctor is gone. You stay loyal to the show and you wait for the announcement of the next Doctor. And even if it is a man, you get behind it because you're a fan of Doctor Who. But you see, what happens in modern fandom is they're only a fan of the lead role. Whoever the lead role is and whatever they pander to, whether they're gay, bisexual, or they're gender neutral or whatever, that's who they support. They don't support the show itself. They support the characters. And that's the difference. So bye-bye. See you later. Don't come back. We don't want to see your horrible faces. Use our bully little tactics in this fandom again. See you later. Go on. Bye-bye. Toddle along. Your Doctor is gone. Right? That's the attitude you're going to have. You can fuck off. Right? Being a true fan of a show, right, is this. Especially with Doctor Who, right? Your Doctor goes. Yes, it's a heartbreaking time. And trust me, we know how it feels because we've lost Doctors that we didn't want to lose. Right? But this is what the change is all about, folks. Right? Then comes along a new personality, a new person. And they take over the mantle of Doctor Who. And then the cycle goes again. Right? A show like Doctor Who shouldn't be stale anyway. when the lead role can regenerate. This show could go on for indefinitely if it was done properly, because you freshen it up every time you do a regeneration. But if you're going to go because Whittaker is gone, then you're not a fan of Doctor Who, you never were. A fan sticks around and stays for the ride and see what happens next. And even if the next Doctor isn't your favourite Doctor, right, you can do what we did. Have your opinions that, well, I don't like this Doctor. I thought Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was better. And you're entitled to that opinion. People mightn't agree with you. But that's what fandom is. But you aren't fans. You only follow these people. It's like when I see Star Wars, right? You know, we call them the Super Rays, right? They're not fans of Star Wars. They're fans of Rey and what she represents, right? It's the same with the female Doctor, right? They're not fans of Doctor Who. They're fans of Jodie Whittaker and what she represents to them, right? And that's wrong. It's wrong. That's not what a fan is. You can't change the definition of fan because it makes you look bad, because you are bad. Someone says Michael Sheen for the 14th Doctor. We'll see. Someone else says anyone that says they're a fan of Doctor Who but only when Jodie came on board isn't a fan of the franchise but of Jodie only. Exactly. And this is the difference. They call themselves Doctor Who fans. You aren't. You are fans of the woman. You are fans of Mandip Gill. And you are fans of what those two women represent within Doctor Who. You aren't actually fans of the show itself and Doctor Who. So if you are going to leave because Jodie is gone now, as I said, hashtag good riddance. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. As I said, you were staying on this fandom, and I will say it again, and I believe it. You were staying on this fandom when you came on board, and you will be known as the worst part of this fandom that we've ever seen. And, I can't wait to see some of you disappear. I wonder what conventions will do with Jodie and Mandip whenever they will ask to come. I don't really care. I don't care if they go to conventions. I've no interest in our Doctor. I've no interest in Mandip. They're both gone now. So as far as I'm concerned, they can toddle along with their fandom, with their fans as well. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. It was nice not knowing you. So good luck. They never really embraced this fandom truly. As I said, they saw it as a job, a step up the ladder for both of them, right? But unfortunately, it's going to have the opposite effect. I don't think their careers are going to survive this, to be quite honest. They'll have to do their own stuff. Maybe Jodie will be given something as compensation. They might do well, mightn't do well. It'll depend. But I never seen her as a lead actress anyway. She was always playing bit parts in other people's shows anyway. So I do know she was in one lead show. Wasn't it that nurse's bleeding thing that she did? I don't know what it was. But anyway, she's not a lead actress. She never was a lead actress. She's part of an ensemble cast. That's all she'll ever be. She's like for me, she's a glorified extra, basically. And this is not me. Look, and then people say, "Oh, but you're attacking Jodie." No, I'm attacking her acting ability. See, there's a difference. There's a difference. Yes, I don't like things that she's personally said, and when she does say things like that, I've called her out. But when it's come to her acting, that's not me attacking her. That's me attacking her acting ability. She's like a Tesco. She's like a Tesco actress or a Lidl actress, right? What we needed was a Marks and Spencer's or a Debenhams actor or actress, right? That's an analogy for you Brits there, right there, right? Okay? I mean, the level is Emmerdale, EastEnders, you know, feckin' Coronation Street. That's their level, right? Doctor Who is a big step up. Big step up. And she failed. Mandip failed. Chris Chibnall failed them as well. They all failed. This brief that Chris Chibnall, you know, gave them, the Chris Chibnall coming in, all the decisions that were made, I'm going to say it now. Chris Chibnall was out of his depth. Jodie Whittaker was definitely out of her depth. But Chris Chibnall should never have been given this job in the first place. That decision is solely down to Piers Wenger, and he'll have to live with that decision. He's already spoke up now about how because, again, as people have already explained, right, and I will be covering this as well. I'll do a video on it. I'm not going to do a live stream on it, but I will bring this up in a video. So Piers Wenger is already coming out about how RTD has a vision. Now, the reason why we're hearing from Piers Wenger a lot is because he's trying to save his own neck right now, because he knows he got it wrong. So he's coming out with all this crap about how RTD has this vision and it's going to be great, but he can't say anything because we still have episodes of Jodie Whittaker's Wonderful Doctor to come and all of this. But he's trying to save his own neck right now. And it's pathetic. Shut up. We don't want to hear from you. You're the last person we actually want to hear from. So keep your opinions to yourself, Piers Wenger. Simple as that. You are the reason why this show is in the state that it's in right now, right? And you know what he said, right? He was quoted to say that bringing back RTD wasn't the most difficult decision he had to make or whatever it was. I will go straight in. I will go into it when I do the video. But you should hear his comments, right? That guy is trying to save his own skin right now. Trying to save his skin right now. So, like, I wouldn't be listening to that tosspot, because he's the reason why we're in the situation that we're in with this show. Stupid decision you made. Stupid decision. And I guarantee if he actually did have a TARDIS or a time machine and he could go back to the version of himself that gave Chris Chibnall the job, I reckon he'd stop himself from giving Chris Chibnall the job. If he had any fucking sense, he would anyway. As I said, there are plenty of reasons why people didn't like this era of Doctor Who. Yes, some didn't like the casting of a woman. Some didn't like the writing style. Some didn't like the acting ability that was on show. Right? Some people out there found it boring. Right? But what the other side like to focus on is, they didn't like a woman in the role. There were so many other issues. And don't get me wrong, while that was one main issue, there are plenty of other main issues out there. Right? This whole thing, I just serious thought in, you know, we've got a serious starting now at the end of the month. And then the countdown officially has begun. And then we will see what RTD has to say, because he still hasn't said that much. And then, of course, we will hear from Piers Wenger, because he can't help himself. But he'll start patting himself on the back. That's what I mean. He already patted himself on the back for bringing back RTD. So he's trying to erase his mistake by bringing back the showrunner that brought Doctor Who back and made it successful. And he thinks that person's going to save his own ass. Is going to save his ass. Now, I will add, RTD probably will save his job, because the level of writing that man has achieved. His development over the years is sensational. But you know what? He won't be in that position for the rest of his life anyway. Piers Wenger will be gone as a head of drama at some stage in the future. They always change up. He might move upstairs. If I was BBC, I'd actually sack him. I wouldn't have him in the complex whatsoever. You know, his decision. Look, yes, he's had success with other shows, and nobody can deny that. But Doctor Who was their golden goose, and if you fuck up their golden goose, I think that's unforgivable. But I personally think it's unforgivable, and I think he should be given the axe. Series 13 ratings predictions. I don't really. It's too early. It's too early to give me ratings prediction. I normally used to do this, but last year I waited until I seen the first couple of episodes before I made up my mind on average rating. I think I did say 4.2 was my average rating. And it did get to 4.2 at one stage. I don't know. It'll depend. It will depend on the first and second episode. From what we've been hearing, apparently they're gonna leave on a high. Can they leave it on a high? I highly doubt it. I think it'll be more the same, but you never know. But it will be interesting to see. But as I said, we've got less episodes now, so yeah, it's going to be very hard to gauge. It depends on the time slot as well, because the first episode, we don't know what time they're dropping the first episode. The rumor is 8:30, which is a bit late. Which I don't think is going to happen. It'd have to be before that, a couple of hours before that. I reckon between 6:30, 7:30, if I'm correct in saying. I could probably do you know what I could do? While we're here live right now, I can actually check my Skybox now, because I think I can go a couple of weeks ahead. Right, so I'll tell you now, because it's officially announced now that it's on. So I might be able to get up. The schedule now. So leave it with me. Give me a second, and we'll have a look. We'll have a look right now. All right, I need to turn the volume down so we don't get any interference. And then I'll go to BBC One. BBC One. BBC One. It's a BBC One. What's going on with my fucking telly? What's going on with my fucking telly? Right. Where's my Skybox? Come on. There you go. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Gold. Do. BBC One HD. Here we go. Match of the day. Right, that's okay. My football's still recording. I have to have me football, folks. I have to have me football. So keep going. We got blankety blank there. I'm recording blankety blank with Bradley Walsh. So I have the whole set, because I used to watch that growing up as a kid. When Les Dawson did it, and then someone else did it as well. I had a couple of few. I think Paul O'Grady also did blankety blank as well. Right, so there's strictly blankety blank match of the day. So that's Saturday. So this is Sunday now. Is this the 31st of October though? Right, so it's... Hold on, we have to keep going, obviously. Come on. We get down right to the end. Blankety blank. Blankety blank. Blankety blank. Blankety blank. Dr. Pooh, where are you? Dr. Pooh, Dr. Pooh, Dr. Pooh, where are you? Dr. Pooh, Dr. Pooh, Dr. Pooh, where are you? No, still not. That's a bit weird. I always thought they showed a couple of weeks in front. It's not coming up. It's not coming up. Right, we will have to wait. We will have to wait a couple of more days, I reckon. This weekend, actually. I reckon once this weekend goes, then I can check. Then I'll be able to tell you what time do you have it scheduled for. But there you go, Country Foil, right? Just to tell you, because they used to show it after Country Foil, right? So Country Foil is on at 5:10 p.m. every Sunday, right? So if Country Foil is on at 5:10, they normally used to have Doctor Who on after it. But they have this show called The Mating Game, which will be 3 episodes in. So yeah, this will make sense. So I think it's gonna slide in after The Mating Game is over. So it's either gonna be it's gonna be sandwiched in between Country Foil and Strictly Come Dancing, I reckon. So Country Foil starts at 5:10, finishes at 6, and then we got Strictly at 7:30. So it's going to be in between The Mating Game, I reckon. Maybe Strictly will be on a little bit early. Or maybe they'll push Country Foil up to about 6 o'clock, because it's only on for an hour. Or 5:30. Yeah, bounce it up to 5:30. Then it's over at 6 something. And then Doctor Who comes on 6:15, 6:20. Then you got Strictly then at... Where's Strictly again? Strictly comes on at 7:30. So yeah, if you think about it, right, so I reckon Doctor Who will come on around 6:30, 20 to 7, because we don't know if it's going to be an hour or 50 minutes or whatever, right? So interesting. It'll be interesting to see when the first episode drops. But again, if they drop it at one time and then the second episode's dropped at a different time the next week, then again, but again, it just seems to me everything they've done with this era seems to be sabotage. And I'll get into it when I talk about the Doctor Who Flux stuff. So I've got a couple of videos to make, which I will do. But they will move Country Foil up, I reckon. Then they'll slot Doctor Who in there, and then Strictly will be on after it. So they'll sandwich it between the 2 most popular shows on a Sunday night, which is Country Foil, which is Strictly, like they've always done. So they'll probably stay true to form and sandwich it in between those 2 shows. So yeah, but putting it on at 8:30 on a Sunday night, right? Halloween, okay, to a certain extent would make sense, right? Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there, Robert, right? Or give the BBC the benefit of the doubt, I should say. But kids are back in school now, right? So you wouldn't be able to show the next week's episode at 8:30 when kids are up for school on the Monday morning. So it would not make sense. And I understand where you're coming from. For the first episode, yet maybe it helped boost the ratings, because that's what they'd want. They want to get off to a good start. Because let's be honest, the first episode of every season has done well. Nobody's denied that. The first episode always seems to do well. It's after the first episode is where all the problems come along. But it wouldn't make sense to have it on at 8:30 after Halloween night, because kids would be in school the next day. And kids are up early in the morning. So I don't see it. I see them pushing it back to their 6:30, 6:40 time slot. and sandwich it in between the two. But they will be hoping that, see, this is why they're clever. They know that people will be watching Country File, right? And then those people, they're probably like, some will obviously be making tea or stuff like that and will leave the BBC on, and they'll probably see the first couple of minutes of Doctor Who and knock it off, right? And then it'll be the same when Doctor Who is nearly over. People will switch on BBC, right, to watch Strictly, yeah? So then they'll get the bounce at the end of that episode as well. See, they're very clever. They've been doing this the whole era. That's why I believe it'll be sandwiched between those two shows again. Because that's how they've tried to kind of boost the ratings. Well, people, watching the end of Country File. And as I said, after that show, people get up off their asses, probably make a cup of tea, leave the first couple of minutes of Doctor Who on. And then they'll knock it off when they realise that Jodie Whittaker is on screen. And then they'll come back then later on to watch the Strictly, and then they'll probably put on the last few minutes of the Whittaker episode while they're waiting on Strictly coming on. So the BBC know, they're not tick. They know how to manipulate ratings, right? I've been saying it for the last couple of years anyway. I've got Garminator saying hashtag good riddance. Yep. It's finally today. I'm not as happy as I thought I would be, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, the RTD announcement has me buzzing still. So don't, you know what? I thought I would have cared more that she was gone, or would have had an emotional outburst about the fact that she's finally gone and all of this rubbish. But no, because I think the RTD announcement is kind of like, I don't really give a crap now. I just want to see what RTD has to do. So don't care that she's gone now. Bye-bye, good riddance. She did. I told people in the chat, she did look very relieved. She did. She did look very relieved. I have to say, both of them looked very tired as well. I will say that. But I suppose I'm glad the nightmare is over, right? But obviously it's not over yet until we see what they've done. But I mean, they're gone. But I thought I would have been more buzzing. But I think the RTD announcement has kind of overshadowed anything now. I mean, I'm at the check-in. She's not even trending in Ireland. And the Doctor Who's not even trending. It's that bad. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is that Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill have officially wrapped today, and it's not even trending. But where's Doctor Who was trending when they took down the social medias? But nothing's trending. Not in Ireland anyway. As I said, UK could be different. They probably are trending in the UK, which is fair enough, right? But in Ireland's trends, Jodie Whittaker, because Doctor Who is very popular here, by the way. Be under no illusion, Doctor Who is a very popular show in Ireland. I went to the cinema for the 50th anniversary. My brothers got me a ticket. And you should have seen the crowds, the queues to watch this 50th anniversary. People dressed up as the Doctor as well. It was absolutely, that part of it was really fun. I really felt part of something big when that 50th happened. And I did. I have to admit, I did. It was nice to be part of that. But Doctor Who is not trending here. Jodie Whittaker isn't trending here. So it just goes to show you how unpopular this era actually was. And no matter what the other side say, this era was a complete disaster. But RTD is coming back now. He has a clear plan, clear vision. We will get to see that now. We will get to see that now. Obviously, after this era is on TV. So the sooner, obviously, the 31st. Once we get close to the end of the series, then we should hear from, RTD proper first interview, see what he has to say, you know, and then we'll see with the casting, and then we move on from there. Look, it is a very exciting time. You know, I am still a bit cautious because obviously we've had 5 years of this regime and they haven't treated us very well. But I do know RTD will be totally different when it comes to the fans anyway. I just hope that Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker haven't finished the show off, that even the great man himself can't resurrect this. But, you know, I'm optimistic. I'm still buzzing. And as I said, I thought I would have been more buzzing that these two planks have finally gone. But, you know, the RTD announcement kind of has overshadowed that. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because I'm kind of like, all right, see you later. Bye-bye. Bye. And then to see some of the fans say that they're not coming back to the show, I'm like, right, okay, bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Right? See, again, I'll say it. If you're only coming on board a show because you happen to like the lead actress, because she happens to have an agenda, or her casting is an agenda, well, then you're not a fan of the show. You're a fan of the woman, the person, the politics, the ideology. Right? So if you just want to go. As we said, we've never wanted you in this fandom because you aren't true fans of the show. You only care about the agenda, the politics. So leave, go. Leave this show for fans who truly care, who are truly fans of this show. And let's get RTD to come back and introduce new fans to this show, right? Because that's what this show was able to do in 2005. It introduced a lot of new fans to the show, and I've no problem with new fans coming in to a show. But these people that jumped on board when Jodie Whittaker came along as the Doctor, they were not fans. They all had agendas. They all had their little ideology. They all had their position was, well, the first female Doctor, she's our Doctor. They made it very clear, you know, with Jodie as our Doctor and all this other rubbish, right? So it's nothing to do with Doctor Who, right? It's always to do with Jodie Whittaker because she was a woman, right? And now that she's left, some of those people are saying that they're going to leave now. If they're going to leave now because Jodie is gone. Bye. RTD will do something that will be replaced. Actually, these will be replaced by new fans. These will be replaced by people who truly enjoy watching the series and aren't watching it because there's agenda spewed all the way through. And as I said, when RTD does do it, story is always his focus. But his character development, whatever ideology, whatever politic he wants to bring into it, we see in the Jordan's first era how clever and how well it was done. Remember, this is a more mature RTD. This is also an RTD who has recently won awards, right? So he's on a high. He doesn't need Doctor Who. He's coming back because he has a vision, because he believes that the show needs saving. Right? And he might publicly come out and say that. And people are already saying, because I want to dispel this thing. Oh, well, but he's coming out and he's publicly supporting Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker, and he's even praised them for their work on Doctor Who. Okay. But you see, here's the thing. He's not going to publicly come out and say, Jodie Whittaker is a shit doctor, and Chris Chibnall, my friend, he can't write for art, and Doctor Who is crap under him. I don't know why BBC made the decision to bring my friend Chris Chibnall in, because he's not a good writer. He's not ever going to publicly come out and criticise Chris Chibnall or Jodie Whittaker. Of course, he was going to come out and praise her Doctor and praise him for his work on Doctor Who, right? But if that is a reason for people out there to say, no, I'm done, I'm not going to have anything to do with Doctor Who, blah, 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 well then, you don't come back either then, right? Because, this fandom needs to change. We've had 5 years of crap, right? Already, we've already seen some naysayers with this announcement, right? I can kind of understand it to a little bit because you're worried because of shows that RTD has done, and he seems to be more political than ever and all of this. But I'm sorry, his writings have matured. He's gotten better. Doctor Who's always had messaging in it. Unless you've been blind or not been watching the same show that we've been watching. Because even the classic era had politics in it. And here's another thing as well. Again, when this era begins with RTD, I think people will really have to, I would suggest that everybody watches RTD's original era again. Because what I'll be definitely doing is I'll be calling out the bullshit for real. And even if it's people on our side of the argument, I'll be calling them out. Because if they're going to start saying that the RTD era is very political and this, that, and the other, I'm going to keep going back and say, well, go back and watch the RTD era again then. Because you were obviously watching it with sunglasses on because you are blinded. Because the politic is there for everybody to see. And I don't think he's going to change his writing style for anybody. Right? And by the way, shows like Years and Years and It's a Sin are completely different animals to Doctor Who, by the way. Right? Doctor Who is a completely different show. RTD has even said it. It's one of the most difficult shows to write for. Right? So, I think seriously that especially people on our side, go back and watch the RTD era again because you will be called out. Right? Not just by the other side, but you will be called out by me because I'm not going to sit back and let people, if this era ends up being bad, I'll come out and say it is, but I don't think it will be. I think RTD's experience and his background and what he's written for Doctor Who in the past has proven that he's a competent showrunner. And, since then he's went on to do amazing things. And he's become an even better writer. So, I think people need to take a step back, because if they're going to say, oh, look, he said there's a lesbian in this here, I'm not watching it anymore. He introduced us to Captain Jack. He introduced us to multiple diverse characters during his era. The difference is that character development was much better than the Chris Chibnall era. But again, people will need to take a step back because, I already see it with other franchises out there. One little line's made, oh, no, watching that because he said that line. No, he's going to be kind of sick of all of that. As I said, folks, you've got to judge all these TV shows and movies for yourselves and don't be listening to people like me, right? We're here to give our opinions, but we're not here to make you change our own opinions. I can give mine and be forceful about them and to be clinical and to stand by them. But at the end of the day, we're all different people. We all have different opinions. But I've noticed lately that people just want to moan about the least little thing. You have to give RTD a chance. And for those that are saying that he's too political, I would suggest that you go back and watch his era of Doctor Who. Right? Maybe it's been a few years since you have watched it, but you will be very, very surprised. I would even go as far as to say that his era was more progressive than Stephen Moffat's. Stephen Moffat near the end did have a lot of messaging in his, but you know, his writing can be good, can be on and off. It didn't, but it was blatant. It was in your face. But with RTD, he had a clever way of doing it. But his era is full of politics. Full of politics. It's full of ideology. It's full of agenda. But the thing about it is that his writing is so clever. His characters are so well developed. His story arcs are so well developed that you don't even notice it. Right? He'll get his message across. It'll resonate with the audience, but it won't. But what it won't do is it won't alienate its audience or preach to its audience. And that's what this current era of Doctor Who has done. RTD will not do that. But I think people really need to go back and watch the RTD era again, because they're going to be surprised, because the way I'm listening to people, the way they're talking on Twitter and other social media, makes me believe that, you know, they don't really understand the RTD era actually, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening when his new era begins. Because if you think he's never been political in Doctor Who, well then you haven't been watching. I don't think you have watched RTD's era, or it was, as I said, though it was 2005. It wasn't as obvious back then. Everything is obvious now. And this is what I think we need to kind of be careful about when we do review RTD's era, when we do discuss it, that we take that into account, that RTD is always being political, and we must judge it on his writing style, his character development, his story arcs. That's what we must do. That's how we do it. You know, we can't judge it by the standards out there, and we have to give him a chance, by the way. You know, like standards have dropped under Chris Chibnall, and we've seen all the damage he has done, but we must give RTD time. He mightn't hit the ground running this time. You know, it might take him a couple of stories to find his groove again, or he could hit the ground running, which would be brilliant. I hope he does hit the ground running again, because that'll be absolutely fantastic. But we have to give him a chance, you know. So we will see who he casts. We'll see who he casts as his companion. Then we'll see what he says his first interview. Because as I said, I think his first interview will be very important for a lot of fans. Because you'll kind of get to see his way of thinking, what he thinks about Doctor Who right now. In a way, you know, he'll be obviously complimentary to the era that went beforehand, because that's what they do. That's what they do. And for him to show public support, and people have said, well, him and Stephen Moffat showed public support during the watch-alongs and the tweet-alongs. Of course they did. They're friends with Chris Chibnall. Stephen Moffat was the one that convinced Chibnall to take the job. He got him drunk, for God's sake. That's known. Moffat himself has even come out and said it, that he got him drunk and told him, you're taking over Doctor Who. Which should never have been done that way, by the way. And that did actually kind of disappoint me, that it was done in that way. You're handing the reins over to someone. You don't get drunk and then say, oh, you're taking over Doctor Who. You know? He didn't want it to force to remember. This is a man that turned down taking Doctor Who before. So why would you offer him the job when you know he didn't want it? And I don't think he ever wanted the job. I think he knew that this was the hardest job on television. And don't get me wrong, I think personally myself, he has tried his best. But his best isn't good enough, and never was and never would be. But they gave him a chance to put his vision of what he thought Doctor Who was. And if you look at Series 11, 12, and then Series 13, it's going to be completely something different. All I will say is, if you look at this era, when the third and final season comes out and then we get the specials, if you analyse it all together, you will see a disjointed series, era. you will see a showrunner that doesn't know quite what he's doing. It was evident in Series 11. Series 12, we went back to something more familiar to fans, but it still wasn't good enough. And I reckon Series 13 will go down the same route. He'll try to give fans a bit more of the familiar. That's why we're getting the Suntarans back, the Weeping Angels and all of that. Right? So Series 11, he tried something new, which I've always said, fair play. You know, it mightn't have worked, but he did try something different for Series 11. It was completely different than anything that we've ever seen. Right? And he'll get credit for that. It just wasn't Doctor Who. The Series 12, then he brought it back, as I said, to the more familiar, right? But it was too late. Damage was already done in Series 11. It didn't matter what he gave us during Series 12. The damage was done. But then he gave us the timeless children nonsense and murdered a child on screen multiple times. And I will say that woman stuck a needle in a child's neck and made that child regenerate. She murdered that child. Over and over. She kidnapped that child. She found the child. If you found a child out in the street, right, wandering about, right, you found a child in the street, would you take that child home and then start doing experiments on the child? No. You would try and find the child's parents or go to the police, go to the authorities and say, hey, look, I found this missing child. But no, she took the missing child. She brought the child back to Gallifrey. Child has an accident. She sees all this goldy stuff come out of the child. She goes, ooh, that's interesting. I know what I'll do. I'm going to experiment on the child. Yeah, going to experiment on the child. And then they showed the scene where this little girl regenerates after regeneration after regeneration after regeneration, just so this woman, this scientist, can get the secrets of regeneration. And fans are okay with that. And this person, rumored, we don't know yet, but the timeless child is either the Doctor or the Master. You know, and then we get the fugitive Doctor. So people are thinking, oh, well, maybe they're trying to destroy the origins of Doctor Who. The main character. Look, I think what will happen though when the new era starts, and if it is great, this era will be forgotten very quick. The other side obviously will continue to remind us of how bad we all were, how nasty we were towards this era. I honestly don't give a crap. You can keep talking. You can keep trying to reel us in and try bait us, which is our stupid tweets and videos about how we're not to be trusted and don't be listening to these sort of fans. They're the toxic ones. No, you're the guys that sheltered, protected, and actually supported all of these toxic fans. And nobody's going to be ever listening to any you people again. Everything that we've said on this channel over the last few years have been spot on. This era was a complete disaster, and it will be remembered as a complete disaster. And don't get me, don't listen. This always happens in a few years' time. All of those YouTubers that were praising this era, as soon as the RTD era comes out, and if it's anyway better than the Chris Chibnall era, wait and you see them change their tune. Wait till you see then. They'll change their tune and then they'll criticise Chris Chibnall. But you know what? Nobody will give a shit what you have to say now. Right? You've had the opportunity to do that during this era. Instead, you all decided to support it and decided to bully or support bullies in this fandom that drove fans away. So we won't forget that either. And people out there, like, the person that I'm talking about, he's always calling people white supremacists. His time in this fandom is up. People are not going to take him too seriously anymore, or his videos, or anything that he does. He's already changing like the weather, that one. starting to, and I've noticed that a lot of them are starting to come out and criticize the recent promotion. So they're already changing their tune, folks, because that's what they do. You know, they change like the weather. They don't stick to their convictions. These people were defending Chris Chibnall's era. Now they're criticizing. It's actually funny. We've been criticizing from day one because we seen what they were doing, but now you decide that you're going to criticize now that it's over. No, not after what you did for the last few years and attacked fans. That's not how it works. Patrick Musin with a $5 Australian super chat says, Whittaker and Gill wrapped up on Doctor Who. They did worse than rap on the show, more like crap on the show. We didn't get a Tasman love scene, LOL. Well, we don't know that for a fact. Series 13 still hasn't aired. I wouldn't be surprised what Chris Chibnall would do, but I know that is a little fantasy of all of the Whittaker fans out there. Oh, let the two of them get romantic, kissy, kissy, huggy, huggy. Because again, for them, it's all about the agenda, you know. They don't care that it actually doesn't make any sense that there's actually, you know, some sort of relationship, the kind of relationship that they want them to have, because there's been no character development. I mean, just because a comment was made by Mandip Gill's mother, I think it was, was something about her being bisexual or something, right? They latched on to that and automatically, oh, Mandip and the Doctor are going to hook up. I still think they forget it's a family show, and I don't think that would be done anyway, personally, but not Chris Chibnall. It's bloody possible, but I don't think you will see that. Don't think Tasman will happen. And in a way, I'm kind of glad, because I know it wrecks Jodie Whittaker's fans' heads, and that annoys them. Makes me happy, because obviously, you know, we've been through a lot in this fandom. So I'll take that, and if they're upset about that, let them be upset about it. Nobody gives a flying crap. I'll watch this era, and I will judge it on its merits. You know, I will forget, because I did particularly, I did enjoy the latest festive special. I'm not going to lie. There was some good elements to it. So I gave that a fair shake. So I will give Series 13 a fair shake, and it will be an honest review and opinion. Now, to make sure that it's not genuine, but, you know, it's raw, what will happen is the episode will air. Soon as it's over, then I'll set up the stream, and then we'll be going live a half an hour after the episode has dropped, and we'll be doing a panel, and then we'll get people's opinions that night. Then a couple of days later, then I will be obviously take in what I've watched, maybe watch it a second time, and then come on and do my own personal review and what I thought of the episode. We've got the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS in the chat, and it says, at the TARDIS Zone YouTube channel. Welcome. Nice to see you here. Hope you're well. I don't know what your thoughts are on RTD's return and this current era of Doctor Who, but it's nice to see you in the chat, and welcome. TARDIS Time says, I'm not watching it. I refuse. I can understand where you're coming from, but as I said, I couldn't. I'm a Doctor Who fan, and I'm not saying you're not a Doctor Who fan. You clearly are a Doctor Who fan, and you couldn't bring yourself to watch it. But I had to watch it. I had to see where they were going with this. And the reason why I'm watching it till the end is because I need that closure as well. I need to see her regenerate. I need to see her regenerate. So someone asked me, are you sure you want to do that in all the reviews? Well, I've already said I'm going to do them. I've done series 11 and 12. I've done the festive specials. I'm gonna go to the end because, as I said, I am a Doctor Who fan. I mightn't like this current era, but I'm a fan of the show. I'm a fan of the brand, and just because I don't like this particular era doesn't mean that I walk away. As I said, there were people back in the classic Who days that didn't like Colin Baker's Doctor. I mightn't like Sylvester McCoy's Doctor. I actually even know far back in the day when Patrick Troughton was cast, there was a lot of people that weren't happy with his casting. So this is not a new thing. This is not a new thing. This has gone on ever since the show was conceived, and William Hartnell had to step down due to his medical conditions that he had because the poor man was sick, and even when Pertwee took over, there was some criticism. Baker took the role, and then he made it obviously his own. But I remember then Peter Davison, when he took over, people were criticizing he was too young and stuff. So this is not a new thing. This is not a new phenomenon. This has always happened in the fandom. But unfortunately, during this era, if you criticised in any way, and especially about the Doctor, who happens to be a woman, it seems like you're not allowed to criticise. And as I said at the start of this stream, I don't think people realised that she was going to be more scrutinised than any other person that had took the role before her because she was the first female Doctor. She was always going to get that extra scrutiny. Now, has it been fair? I think we have been fair on this channel. I've called her out when she said all of those stupid things in interviews. I've criticised her acting. I've criticised Chris Chibnall's writing ability. His story development, his character development has been pretty weak. Right? You look at Mandip and Tolson Cole, for example, their characters were very poor. And it was just, the overall decisions to change it from a Sunday to Saturday night, Saturday to a Sunday night, in my opinion, was lunacy. To drop the Christmas slot was lunacy. There was a lot of stuff. And I don't, look, I said it only a few weeks back. I don't regret anything I said. I don't regret the way I felt at the time. I don't regret, when I saw the Timeless Children and I broke down in tears. I don't regret that. I'll never regret any of that. I stand by what I said. This era, Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker are the worst things ever to happen to Doctor Who and the fans that came along with it. The Legend of the Travelling TARDIS says, thanks, Noel. Got a whole lot of talk about what I think about the Chibnall error. LOL. Mate, my advice to you is if you haven't commented on it before, and you're deciding to say something now and speak up, my advice would be simple. I wouldn't bother. You don't need the hassle. You don't need the abuse. You don't need the troll attacks on a daily basis. If you haven't said anything about this era and you haven't watched, or you have watched but you haven't made any comments or feelings about it, I wouldn't now. It's done. It's done. So I mean, for your own peace of mind, I would say if you haven't commented on it because you haven't liked this era, I wouldn't. I would leave it, to be quite honest. I think everybody out there has said what they needed to say about this era. We do move on now. But I'm only saying it because of what's happened to me in the fandom. And I know what the fans of this show are like, this particular era are like. And they're not the nicest people in the world. I could tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. They're some of the nastiest people you'll ever meet. They will threaten you. They'll threaten you. I've been sent death threats. They've abused me wife. They've abused me friends. They've accused us of all sorts, including white supremacy, homophobia, bloody sexism, misogyny, any label you can think of. Any label you can think of. So if you haven't commented on it before, I wouldn't start now. I would leave it. Just look forward to the new era. Talk about stuff that's gonna happen when we start receiving stuff, interviews and stuff like that. And hopefully we can look forward to the future with a bit of positivity. Again, the Doctor Who official account shoots itself in the foot. And it's obviously still got to do with the promotion of this era. But it was something like, let's hope the future is all girl. I mean, first of all, sexist comment. But second of all, very disrespectful to every other person, or every other man, I should say, that has played the Doctor before Whittaker. But again, remember, these are the same people that said space for all. Doctor Who was inclusive to everybody, right? That was true under RTD, and it was certainly true under Stephen Moffat. But it's not true under the Chris Chibnall era. It's all been a lie. It hasn't been space for all or inclusion for everybody. Because if you have the opinions that I've had about this era, then you're a problem. So what they really mean is space for all if you believe what we believe and you follow the politics and the ideology that we have, then you're okay. If you have a different way of thinking and you have your own mind and you like to come up with your own conclusions, your own theories and your own reviews that don't match ours, well then this show isn't for you. You're a bigot. You need to get out of this fandom. This is what we were told. This is what we were told. So it's not just the writing. It's not just the acting. It was everything to do with this era that failed. And to see those two with the clipboard in their hand saying that they're officially gone, I thought I'd be a bit more celebratory about it. But the fact is that the RTD era has actually, or the RTD announcement has actually got me buzzing. And I don't really care that they're gone now. They're gone. They're gone. That's it. They're done. Who cares? Just wait for Chris Chibnall to officially announce he's gone, and then happy days. Then we can move on. Then we know RTD stuff is going to start happening, And this is where it's going to get exciting in the fandom. Because remember, the one difference between this current era's production team and his production team will be they'll be a lot more open to talking with fans. They won't hide from fans. You will see if the Comic-Cons go ahead and they're allowed to go to these Comic-Cons because of travel restrictions and all of this, you'll see all of that again. You will see him doing multiple interviews during the year on Doctor Who magazine. The magazine will get exclusives like it used to. Everything will be done. Everything will be done to keep everybody happy. Everybody, not just fans, but licensees, everybody. And this is what this particular era hasn't done very well. I'm just glad to see that this is finally finishing. And that we have something to look forward to. And the RTD announcement surely was an amazing announcement. But now we wait to see what plans he has. And as Raymond Williams says, if it's anything like his Dark Materials, then we're in for something absolutely fantastic. I have said that they want to go huge with this. I do believe they will go huge. I think, it's at this stage, I think they do have to throw the kitchen sink at it. But if RTD can't rescue this, it's time to put the show on ice. It's as simple as that. Show, I do believe, and I said this, even if you look at the end of the RTD first era, it was already getting stale when he did the specials. That's why when he got the Moffat era, there was a slight reboot. It wasn't a full reboot, but it was a slight reboot. Because if you look at the direction the show kind of went in under Moffat, there was a slight reboot there. And I think he'll come back and he'll do the same thing now after this Chris Chibnall era. I think there will be a slight reboot maybe. So if you can't rescue it, it's done. It's done. It'll need to be put on ice. David Mullen says, I'm looking forward to the publicity and marketing to come. RTD really understands the importance. Hold on, the comment disappeared. Really understands its importance for the show. I agree. And I will be highlighting the Doctor Who Flux thing because that promotion is absolutely pathetic. And we will look into that. But this is what this whole thing has been. It's been a pathetic exercise on not how to do Doctor Who and how to treat a show, its fans, its licensees. It's not just fans that have suffered. Remember, and fans in the British public, licensees have also suffered these last few years. So it's about time that, they were given something that they can make money. And the same with Doctor Who magazine as well. It's really struggled. But hopefully now under the RTD era, it might get a resurgence. And as I said, he will do a lot of content for that magazine. And you might actually see a different direction with the magazine. You might actually see the people that even work there that have been criticised in the past finally get that pep in their step that they need. They won't have that pressure of that agenda all the time. They'll be a bit more relaxed. And, I can't wait for the interviews to come to see what he has to say. Discovery of witches, his dark materials, it's a sin. Amazing quality, says Problem Being. Hello, everyone on the TARDIS Zone. Welcome. In RTD, we have faith he will oversee Doctor Who universe, hire the right people, but keep control as an executive, giving him the freedom to do his own projects. Exactly. As we spoke about on this channel, and already people are talking about it. But what I reckon will happen is he'll come in for the 60th. He'll do the 14th series, and then he'll hand over the reins to someone. And then he'll stay on board, obviously, to oversee things, make sure that the show is going in the direction that it should. I'm actually going to read to subscribe to the Doctor Who magazine, says Patrick. Well, that's good to hear. And that's another thing that the RTD announcement will bring. People, I've seen tweets and messages of people saying that they've unsubscribed the magazine and they won't buy the magazine anymore because the quality has dipped the last few years. But like yourself, Patrick, I've seen a lot of people now say that they're willing to resubscribe to the magazine once Chibnall's gone and RTD is in place. And again, that can only be a good thing. This is why I think this is a very clever decision, and why, even though Piers Wenger has given himself a pat on the back, sorry, mate, we're in the situation with Doctor Who because you put Chibnall there in the first place, so you're not getting praise for this, right? You are backed into a corner and you thought, right, do I bring back Stephen Moffat or do I bring back RTD? And you chose RTD because obviously his era is considered the best new Who era of Doctor Who. So you're gambling on the genius of a man who has recently won awards to save your ass. So Piers Wenger has to say, I wouldn't be listening to that twat anyway. He is responsible for the situation that we're in. And he's trying to save his job now. That's all it is. That's all it is. And again, he wouldn't publicly come out and criticise Chibnall either. I don't think people understand how the TV industry actually works. BBC, Chris Chibnall, Moffat, RTD, Mark Gatiss, former doctors, former companions are not going to come out straight and criticise the Whittaker Chibnall era. But there has been a few incidents over time where they've taken a little dig. For example, Billy Piper and Matt Smith, when talking about Doctor Who, when they found out that Doctor Who was on New Year's Day, they were like, what's it doing on New Year's Day? And they actually took the piss out of it, right? Stephen Moffat also took the piss out of it during these tweet-alongs. And even RTD did. And I think that's gone over people's heads. They did take the piss just because they publicly come out and support the guy. They're friends with him. Yeah, he might have done a horrible job with Doctor Who, but they're still friends with the guy. They're not going to publicly come out and slate him and shame him for what he done. Don't get me wrong. If I was friends with him, our friendship would be over, and I would do that because that's how out straight and I am. I would. I'd criticise him. I say, you're at the ruining this show. You're an absolute disgrace. But they won't do that. They won't do that because they're friends. They're friends. So don't be reading that into any of this public support that you see, because a lot of fans are focusing on that and then they're doing videos on it and they're trying to convince you that BBC is not going to change its ways and that we're still going to get the same old crap that we've got in the last 5 years. I can categorically tell you that that isn't true. BBC Studios and Bad Wolf Productions, which will be probably taken over by Sony soon, will be looking after Doctor Who, right? Piers Wenger and the BBC can shut up because they've nothing to do with it. It'll be the commercial arm and Bad Wolf Studios that will make this show what it should be. It'll be nothing to do with Piers Wenger or him bringing back RTD into the fold, no matter what he says. Okay, so no, it will not be the same thing that we've gotten over the last 5 years. And I do think it is very disingenuous for some people out there to say that that isn't the case. This is a new era. It's co-produced like some fans want it. I mean, I don't know what you want because a lot of fans were saying that the only way that they'd come back is if it was co-produced. It's being co-produced, but now they've moved the goalpost now. Now it seems to be, we'll see who he casts as the Doctor. And then some fans have moved the goalpost yet again, and then they will see, we'll see what the trailer in these first episodes is like. And all of this. Right? And then they bring up It's a Sin years and years, how politically charged that was and his agendas in those stories. As I've said, there shows that he wrote, shows that were close to his heart, that he wanted to write and get out there, right? When he comes in and does Doctor Who, he's a Doctor Who fan, right? So he will think like a Doctor Who fan. He will write like a Doctor Who fan, like he did during his first era. Nothing is going to change. That won't change. The difference is that we're getting a more mature RTD and we're getting an award-winning RTD back to Doctor Who. He does not need Doctor Who. Doctor Who needs him and the BBC or whoever, BBC Studio. They need him and Bad Wolf Productions to save this shit show. So, you know, I know there'll be different levels when fans will get excited or when fans will make up their minds. But don't get caught up in all of this rhetoric and comments made by others out there that it's going to be more the same. They don't know, right? And right now they're lying to you. Yeah, you don't know. Just because you might have Piers Wenger coming out and saying stuff, or you have other people come out publicly support, what's happened with this era. That means jack shit in the scheme of things, right? Right now for BBC, this is about making money now. And the only way that they can make money is if they actually write Doctor Who the way it should be written. They've gone past the point of no return. This is it now. Last chance saloon, folks. If RTD can't rescue this, it's done. Doctor Who is finished. It will go on hiatus. It will be done. God knows how long then it will be when it comes back. So this is literally last chance saloon. If the man that made it successful back in 2005 cannot make it successful again, well then I already believe that Chibnall has done too much damage and it's going to take a miracle. But I believe RTD is that miracle that could do it. But that's where it is, folks. It's going to take a miracle for him to pull this off. But I do believe in the form that he's in right now, his maturity in his writing, and the way he has spoken about Doctor Who only recently in the last couple of years. I don't think he'd be coming back unless he had a vision, unless he knew what he was going to do, and that's what makes me excited. We got harassed for 4 years because we expect quality. That's what it boils down to. We weren't prepared to accept Drek. Exactly. That's all it is. Quality. But fans accepted mediocrity for the past few seasons. And that is not good enough. As I said, we should always have high expectations for Doctor Who. I think, Chris Chibnall and his team have been very clever to kind of dumb it down for the masses. I will say that, but that doesn't make it great. It never has. It's made it boring. His writing is just shambolic. Everything about that man with Doctor Who, shambolic. Go off and make another Broadchurch or something. You were kind of decent at that, but even series 2 and 3 were a bit ridiculous. But go on off and do something else that doesn't involve sci-fi, because you're clearly not a good sci-fi writer. And RTD will come in and he won't look at RTD has his own politics, right? We all know that, right? And he does put his politics sometimes into his Doctor Who stories. But as I said, he doesn't alienate the audience. He doesn't make it the focus. He focuses more on character development, story development, again, and interweave his message during the story that he's trying to tell. And he's been one of the best at that, I have to say. So we'll see what happens, folks. I'm still excited, still buzzing, and now she's officially gone. So we can say goodbye. I'm not going to wish Jodie Whittaker the best of luck because it would be insincere. And I don't wish them the best for the future when it comes to their acting careers. Obviously, in their personal lives and stuff like that, I wish them the best. But when it comes to their acting careers, I don't wish them the best. I don't wish them good luck. I couldn't care less what they do on TV anymore. I wouldn't care less if their careers were actually destroyed, after this. I'll never watch anything with Jodie Whittaker in it ever again. Anyway, she's gone from Doctor Who, so she won't be an actress that I will ever think of again. She wasn't in me public consciousness before she got the role. Even though I knew she was in Broadchurch and I watched it, but I never really thought anything of her. I don't particularly think, as you all know, I've said this always. Even before she took Doctor Who, I didn't think she was really a great actress. I don't know where people see this great actress. All I see is a woman that makes faces when she's acting and comes across as one-dimensional, comes across as if she's just reading lines off script like she did with Doctor Who throughout her whole run. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and wish her the best for the future. I know when she was announced I did, but I take it back because I hope their careers end up in the toilet after this, to be quite honest with you. They played their part. And, you know, as I said, both women, Mandip and Jodie, were very divisive in this fandom. You know, Mandip actually mocked fans who cried at TV shows and movies. She took down that tweet. I took a screenshot. This is the thing, you know, they go and criticize fans and then they take down their tweets and they think that they can get away with it. But this is what we've had to put up with, and hopefully we won't have to put up with that crap anymore when RTD starts. So good riddance. Nice to see the back of you. Glad this is over now. But as I said, the official tweet has only mentioned that Mandip and Jodie Whittaker have finished filming. It hasn't actually said that Doctor Who has wrapped, which makes me believe that there's still some filming going on, and it could be with people that obviously are not the main cast. And yeah, look, all I will say to RTD is this. This is my message to RTD. RTD, what I'd like to see from you is this. I would like to see you cast based on talent alone. Not all of the other crap that this era did. You cast based on talent. The best person for the role that you believe is the best person for Doctor Who. But base it off talent. Do not base it off gender or skin color or any of that other nonsense. You base it off the talent of the people that you're auditioning, and the one that gives you the best audition and you believe is the best for the role, that's who gets it. Right? When it comes to your writers, you bring in, obviously you will, but I'm just saying this anyway to put it out there. But when you bring in your writers, you also do the same. You bring in your writers based on talent alone. None of this gender nonsense or any of the other nonsense that has been done throughout this era. You bring people in based on their talent. And then these people that you bring in, you make sure that these people know you're working for Doctor Who. We expect we expect you to behave in a certain way towards the fandom. Treat the fans with respect. Even if you don't agree with them, you treat the fans with respect. Right? And also, as well, to the people that will end up eventually being cast, I would say to you guys out there, you know, if you take this role and whoever decides to take the Doctor, I would say to that person, do the research. I don't care if you're not a fan of Doctor Who and never been a fan of Doctor Who, but do the research. Right? Look at some of the classic Doctors. Look at some of the new Who Doctors. And come up with your own unique take on the Doctor based on the research that you've done. That's all we want. That's all we want. Cast people based on talent. And of course, that's become an ugly word. Because if you say box ticking or hiring based on, as I said, religion, gender, skin color, that's not how you do things, because you're narrowing the field. Doctor Who, for anybody that's going for that role, it should be open to everybody. If he's truly believing in the bullshit that he's come out with, well, then the role is up for anybody. So whoever gives you the best audition or you think that would fit your Doctor is the one that you go for. But always hire based off people's talent and not because of skin color, religion, or sexual orientation, or gender, or any of that other nonsense. Right? And it is nonsense, because I'm sorry if this upsets people, but you should never narrow the field when it comes to, casting, bringing in writers, directors. You should always bring in the most talented people. If you want this to succeed, that's what you do. You bring in the most talented people from the talent pool that you have, and out of that pool, you pick out the most talented people, the people that can bring your era forward and make your era what you want it to be. Simple. Quality, quality, quality. That's all we want. And I'm going to leave it there before I go on for another hour, because I could really talk about this all day. There's a lot of stuff that I've actually kind of got out there off my chest as well. But I will say this, I thought I would have been a bit more excited and delighted to see this announcement. But as I said, because the RTD announcement, I don't really care now. They're gone. Good riddance. I just want to see now and hear now when Chris Chibnall steps down. And once he's gone and he's out that door, then we can truly celebrate. But for anybody that's joined me late, just to give you as a recap, Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill have officially wrapped filming Doctor Who. They've officially wrapped. It hasn't said anything about Doctor Who officially wrapping, but it has said they've officially wrapped. And as I said earlier, they weren't trending on Twitter. The last time I checked, I will be fair. Now, we've been going on for over 2 hours now. I will see now. So in the entertainment section, as I said, Jodie is trending. It doesn't say Jodie Whittaker. It just says Jodie. But as I said, if you go in, it's not just about Jodie Whittaker. But Doctor Who is not trending as far as I can see here. So I'll go in to see what's trending here right now. We got the budget, as I said. William Shatner is trending there. Shane Duffy is trending. Why is he fucking trending? Norway is trending. Israel is trending. Home Alone is trending because they got the new TV show, which looks absolutely rubbish. So we'll go into the entertainment section specifically. Just to give it one quick look. So Your Home Made Perfect, trending an hour ago, official trailer and music or something. William Shatner, actor Jamie Costa does an uncanny Robin Williams impression. That's trending. David Fincher is trending. And then we got Sci-Fi Fantasy TV trending. Jodie. She's got 7,000 tweets, but it's just Jodie. But if you go through them all, like I've done, most of them is about Jodie Whittaker. But Jodie Comer is in there as well, as I said. And someone just put up a photograph of Jodie's first day on the job and then her last day on the job. Yeah. So Jodie Comer, as I said, is trending as well. There's no official word of Mandip Gill. Mandip's future, she's gone. Mandip is not staying. Morgan Jeffrey, who does the articles for Radio Times, is coming out with, my understanding is that Jodie's final day on Doctor Who, with her last episode in the can. No official word yet on Mandip's future. Mandip is gone. Mandip is gone. Why you even keep going on about this? You know she's gone. You work in the industry. So why are you coming out with crap? She's gone, right? She's not going to be here for the new Doctor. There's no way that Mandip Gill survives out of every single one of them, right? She's gone. You're an idiot. Shut up. If he puts that up an hour ago, he's got nothing better to write about, right? And then, because my understanding is that Jodie's final day on Doctor Who with her last episode in the can. No official word yet on Mandip's future. She's gone. They're all leaving the TARDIS, every single one of them. Why would they keep her on? She's the worst actress we've ever had. Jodie Whittaker is bad, but Mandip Gill is just as bleeding worse. There's no way she survives for the RTD era. She's not the kind of companion that you'd bring in anyway. She's too much of a plank. She's no charisma. She's like Whittaker. They've no charisma. They've no screen presence. She's not a good bloody companion. And even Ryan's character development was bad, but he was a better companion than bleeding Yaz. See, I nearly forgot her bleeding name. There's no way she's sticking around. Get away. But this is what the radio, they've nothing better to do. Because remember, this is still under the Chris Chibnall regime. So they've got nothing better to write about, right? So they just come out with some old crap an hour ago just to put an article out there. Mandip Gill is leaving Doctor Who. She is gone. Just like Whittaker, just like Tolson was gone, just like John Bishop is gone and Bradley Walsh is gone. She is not sticking around. And I tell you something, I would be shocked if RTD was to keep her on. I wouldn't know how she'd survive, to be quite honest with you. If she was the only surviving member of this era. There is no way. So stop writing your crap because you've nothing better to do. If you've nothing to write at all, don't write anything at all. Why not do an article, actually, Jeffrey, on how the Jodie Whittaker fans bullied, abused, and harassed fans in this fandom? Why not actually do something of worth? Just as bad as that Hugh Fullerton fella. Right? He comes out with some crap. I remember an article a few months back or last year. We talked about the future of Doctor Who is animation. Oh, maybe Jodie Whittaker's era will be animation because of the pandemic. This is the kind of level of journalism we have at the Radio Times. A bunch of plonks. Not one of them willing to come out and speak the truth about this era. Have shilled this era from day one and have no time for the Radio Times. And that is one of the most ridiculous tweets I've seen, and it's probably the most ridiculous article. I'm not even going to read it because it wouldn't be worth wiping me arse on. To be quite honest with you, you've nothing better to say she's leaving, and then your first thing you go to is, well, I don't know if Mandip Gill is leaving. We don't know what the future holds for her. I know Jodie Whittaker has filmed the last film, but maybe Mandip Gill. Nobody cares. Mandip Gill's not staying anywhere. She's gone. She's thrown in the dustbin, just like Whittaker's Doctor. Yasmin Khan, I can say safely, right? And don't get me wrong, there's some companions in the 80s that I don't like. People know me feelings on certain companions of the 80s that I didn't like, right? But I could safely say, and this is just my opinion, I could safely say without shadow of a doubt that Mandip Gill is the worst companion that I've ever seen in my life. The worst actually developed character that I've ever seen in my life in Doctor Who. Seriously. Even Jackie Tyler got better character development than Mandip Gill did. And Jackie Tyler wasn't in the series as much as Mandip Gill was. And that's how bad it actually is. If you've got to put a YouTube video together, because some fans are great like that, and they'll show you the scenes that she was in, and you will be astounded by the character development that she had, even though she was not on screen that long. And if you compare her to Mandip Gill's character, right, and look at the level of character development and progression in that character, it stood still. Right? Jackie Tyler's character developed. Look at where she ended up. Mandip Gill's character has not developed whatsoever. She's a police officer. We saw her with a police officer's uniform in the very first episode. Right? Name me situations within the series where she actually put those skills. And I mean, the skills, and we saw it done properly, by the way. We see those skills being put to the test or being used during the show. Right? I'd even say this. Right? Donna Noble was a better copper than Mandip Gill, even though Donna Noble wasn't a copper. You look at her character; she was a temp from Chiswick, right? Look at her character development, right? Look at what RTD did with her character development, right? She was more of a police officer. Look at in The Doctor's Daughter, where in that episode, Donna is using her temp skills to figure out the numbers on the walls. Do you remember when they're talking about generations and all these machines and all? And she figures it out. She did more investigating and more research than Mandip Gill's character did in the current Doctor Who. Even look at the episode where the Sontaran double bill, where Donna again is investigating behind the scenes, and she's doing her little temp work and she's trying to figure things out. And yet again, she does. She did more investigating than Mandip Gill's character, Yasmin Khan, has done in the whole era of Doctor Who. And that's the difference. You know, you don't have to have a character on the screen all the time for it to move on and to be developed. If you're a clever enough writer, you can have a character on screen that isn't on screen that much, but still develop their character and still feel something for that character when they go through something traumatic or sad. Look at how everybody reacted when Jackie and her parallel universe husband finally got together. That was one of the best emotional scenes in Doctor Who that I had ever seen. And we were all willing, the both of them, to get together. But she's not on screen that much. She's not on screen like every single episode. So, you know, again, all of this will be looked at. Look, everybody will look at the Chris Chibnall again retrospectively, and they will see how bad it actually was. But for right now, they can't, because they're too blinded by their hatred. They're too blinded by their agendas and their ideology to see this. But a few years from now, they will. Right, I'm going to leave it there because I still haven't had anything to eat yet. And I have to bring Ted down as well and stuff. And yeah, I just thought, you know, obviously, big... apparently, the teaser has become a bit of a meme, which I don't really care about, to be quite honest with you. If it is a meme, that just goes to show you, you know. Look, no matter what anybody says, I think even the hardened fans have also criticised the way the promotion for this era. We thought Series 12 was bad, but Series 13 seems to be even worse. So, yeah, we look forward to the future. But look, gonna leave it there. I'm gonna say thank you. And Daniel says, great stream. Thanks, mate. No problem. I know there are a few people that have sent me a couple of messages to say, no, we think the panels are great and all, but you know, we don't really hear your opinions as much anymore. And I haven't really noticed, to be quite honest with you, because, you know, I suppose, you know, it's just gone that way, hasn't it? But yeah, I will be obviously Series 13 starts. The channel will go through a brief period of a reshuffle, and I will be doing a lot more of these kind of streams where I'm talking just myself. So I hope you have enjoyed this one. There was a lot of things I needed to say and have said. We had over 50 people watching at one stage. So if you could do us a favor, if you've agreed with everything that I've said on this stream tonight, do me a favor, hit that like button. Obviously, if you haven't, you can hit that dislike button. It doesn't bother me. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. It's just when you go and attack people for those opinions, but you are entitled to hit that dislike button. If you also would like to leave a comment and give your opinion, please do leave a comment. You know, just be very interested to see some of the videos and the comments that we get, see if people agree, disagree. Don't forget to share, obviously. And please do make sure that you're still subscribed, because YouTube, it's coming to that time of the year or that time of the month now where YouTube do their little scrub, their monthly scrub of subs. So make sure that you're still subscribed. And we're only 11 subscribers away from 2,000 subscribers. So if you could do me a favor and really share the channel, share the streams that you have enjoyed, ask people to check them out, see if we can get to that. The 2,000 was always my goal. I said if we got to it, great. Now that we're 11 away, I really want to push and get to the 2,000 mark. So if we can get to the 2,000 subscriber mark, I think we'll be well chuffed. Here we'll all be chuffed anyway. It's been a long journey, long process. I've enjoyed most of it, I will say. Being on YouTube during this era has been an eye-opening experience. And hopefully now, over the next few years, under the RTD, Bad Wolf, BBC Studios era, excuse me, we might start seeing the other side. And maybe the experience on YouTube will be a little bit more enjoyable than it has been over these last few years. But it's over. Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill officially say goodbye to Doctor Who, even though Morgan there, Jeffrey from the Radio Times, or Jeffrey Morgan, whatever his name is, has literally done an article saying what the future is of Mandip Gill. He obviously hasn't been reading everything and watching everything that's been going on. Maybe he lives in his own little bubble, but she won't be surviving. She's gone as well. So I'll say goodnight. I'll talk to you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your week, I should say. I'll see you during the week and over the weekend. And as I said, as soon as Series 13 starts up, the channel will be reshuffled. So some of those streams and watch-alongs that we've been doing will either be moved or they'll be stopped until this era is over. So look out for that. I'll let you know when we get closer to the time. But if anybody is interested, she does have an interview with Graham Norton coming up on Friday. If you are interested in watching what she has to actually say, you never know. I don't think she will say very much anyway. She'll still be very secretive, because that's what Chris Chibnall is And yeah, we'll see you soon. So have a good one. I'll leave you with these trailers. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the super chats. I really do appreciate them all. And thank you for everybody that commented as well. I want to thank all my moderators for keeping the chat safe environment for everybody. And to all the people out there that have appeared on the channel over these last few years, thank you as well. So we'll see you. Thanks again, as I said, for the super chats. We'll see you all soon. I'll leave you with the trailers. Have a good night. Bye-bye, folks.